We live in a world that separates everything like nutrients, molecules, symptoms, even people. But plants don't work that way. They heal through relationships, compounds supporting compounds, roots communicating underground, and ecosystems balancing themselves without instruction. When we work with whole plants, we're not just taking medicine, we're remembering a rhythm our bodies once knew by heart, a rhythm built on synergy, not separation. Walk into any forest, and you'll notice something immediately. Nothing thrives alone. Trees share nutrients through fungal networks. Wildflowers rely on pollinators who rely on them in return. Even so-called weeds play quiet roles that stabilizes soil, feeds insects, and protects the young and fragile. It's a living web of reciprocity, where every being is shaped by its relationships. Herbalism mirrors this truth. A plant's medicine isn't the product of a single molecule acting on a single pathway. It's the result of hundreds of compounds working together to balance, buffer, amplify, and soften. When we take whole plant medicine, we're participating in a community of compounds that evolve to work in harmony. In a culture that prizes isolation, like isolated nutrients, symptoms, and people, it's quietly radical. Plant synergy reminds us that healing is not a solo act. It's a return to a relationship with our bodies, with the land, and with the rhythms we've forgotten how to hear. Herbalism invites us back into a relationship we didn't realize we'd lost. In a world that teaches us to outsource our bodies to experts and our well-being to products, working with plants is a quiet act of remembering. When we brew a tea, tend a garden, or reach for a tincture made from whole plants, we're participating in a lineage of care that stretches back thousands of years. It's a way of saying, I am part of this world, not separate from it. Plants don't heal us from a distance. They meet us in the middle. Their compounds collaborate with our physiology the same way they collaborate with each other. Gently, intelligently, and harmoniously. Herbalism becomes a way of listening to the subtle dialogue between plant and body. A dialogue that reminds us we're woven into the same fabric as the soil, the seasons, and the living beings around us. Belonging, then, isn't an abstract feeling. It's a physiological experience. It's what happens when we engage with medicine that honors complexity, instead of reducing it. Plants teach us that wellness emerges from a relationship within the body, within ecosystems, and within ourselves. One of the quiet gifts of herbalism is that it slows us down, not as an inconvenience, but as a form of medicine. Plants don't rush. They grow in seasons, not seconds. They ask us to steep, simmer, tend, and observe. When we work with herbs, we're invited into that slower rhythm, one that stands in stark contrast to the speed and fragmentation of modern life. Here is where synergy deepens the lesson. The healing power of plants isn't found in a single instant or single compound. It emerges over time, through the cumulative and cooperative action of many constituents working together. To feel that, we have to match their pace. We have to slow down enough to sense the quiet dialogue happening between plant and body. The way one compound calms, while another nourishes. The way one pathway opens as another softens. As we sync with the tempo of herbs, something inside us recalibrates. Our nervous systems soften. Our breath deepens. We begin to feel the subtle shifts that our bodies are always communicating but that we rarely pause long enough to hear. Herbalism becomes a way of re-entering the natural world's rhythm, built on cooperation, patience, and interdependence. Relearning the pace of nature isn't nostalgia, it's nourishment. It's the recognition that our well-being is tied to rhythms older and wiser than any of us, and that plants are one of the most accessible guides, back to that remembering. In the end, herbalism isn't just about plants, it's about remembering who we are when we're not rushing, numbing, or outsourcing our intuition. Working with herbs brings us back into our bodies, back into the subtle sensations, the quiet shifts, the inner yes and no, that modern life trains us to ignore. Synergy is the thread that ties it all together. Plants don't heal through force, they heal through relationship. They offer their complexity, their cooperation, their steady companionship, and they trust us to meet them halfway. When we choose whole plant medicine, we're choosing to participate in a different kind of healing. one that mirrors the interconnectedness of the natural world. Maybe that's the real medicine, the remembering. The sense that we belong to something larger and wiser than ourselves. The realization that healing isn't a destination, but a rhythm we can return to. Again and again, through the simple act of working with plants. Herbalism doesn't just reconnect us to nature, it reconnects ourselves slowly, gently, and in perfect synergy.